This is also the National Institutes of Health, which last year proposed to amend their mission statement to exclude the word disability, saying it, quote, could be interpreted as perpetuating ableist beliefs that disabled people are flawed and need to be fixed. Let me take this moment to go on record. Folks, if I am ever struck blind or deaf or paralyzed, don't praise me, fix me. Small matters when activism merges with narcissism. Less about the cause and more about me. Look at me, watch me. And if you like the way I'm fighting injustice, remember to like and subscribe. When Adele lost weight, she was excoriated for betrayal. To who? She betrayed the unhealthy.
So once again, the outrage machine is firing up. And this time, the far left is not targeting some obvious villain. No, now they are going after people who are actually trying to fix real problems. Because apparently, in today's activist playbook, helping only counts if it comes through approved ideological channels. Bill Maher sees straight through that twisted logic. And once he starts breaking it apart, the entire performance begins to look even more ridiculous. If you enjoy sharp political commentary with no sugarcoating, hit subscribe, drop a like, and let's get into it.
A Washington Post reporter tweeted, "What truly needs curing is society's view of disabled people." And BuzzFeed agreed, Mr. Beast seems to regard disability as something that needs to be solved. Okay, disability is something that needs to be solved. And what truly needs curing is blindness. Here's how I know this. The newly sighted people are cheering, not booing, because Mr. Beast, whoever the that is, just cured them and you didn't do shit. You know the expression, or go blind? You didn't either.
He does not ease into this topic at all. He goes straight for the contradiction and refuses to let it go. In his view, the far left has built an entire culture around acting offended by anyone who dares to do something useful outside their moral permission structure. They talk constantly about compassion, justice, and helping people, but the moment someone actually steps in and does something concrete, they turn into full-time motive inspectors. Their latest complaint is almost absurd. Apparently, if someone helps people and films it for YouTube, that somehow makes the help fake. But Maher cuts through that argument with a simple question. Where do they think the money came from? From YouTube. The videos are not separate from the charity. The videos are what fund the charity. That is why this outrage feels so dishonest. It is not about morality. It is not about decency. It is about power, control, and deciding who gets to be seen doing good in public.
I don't get the woke. They love nothing more than being a victim, except when they really are one, and then they tell you, I am not, go f yourself. Get this. Last month, Mr. Beast, in another move, funded the construction of 100 wells across 5 countries in Africa to provide clean drinking water to 500,000 people. Good thing, right? No. Not good, bad. The founder of a charity called Africa called it kind of frustrating that overnight this person comes along who happens to be a white male figure with a huge platform, and all of a sudden he gets all of the attention. Yes, but you know what else is frustrating? Dying of thirst.
And this is where things become even more revealing. The woke left loves presenting itself as the conscience of society, yet somehow it is never satisfied when results come from the wrong person. Mr. Beast helps fund 100 wells across 5 countries in Africa, bringing clean drinking water to around 500,000 people. And instead of saying, that is incredible, how can we build on this? Some people decide the real issue is that he is getting attention for it. Really? If someone is helping solve the exact problem you claim to care about, clean water, infrastructure, improving lives, the logical response should be to amplify that effort, not resent it. But that reaction exposes something deeper. If the spotlight shifts, funding can shift. If funding shifts, influence shifts. And when influence shifts, control of the narrative shifts too. That is why the outrage feels so artificial. It is not about ethics. It is about territory.
How dare he come in and bogart digging the wells? That's so white guy. Always taking fresh water and shoving it down our throats. Oh, another thing this did in Africa was pay for the rebuilding of an African orphanage, which the director of the Hope and Homes for Children charity called it a classic case of white saviorism. So true. Ask any orphan to name the worst part of their life. Show-offs.
The more you think about it, the worse it looks. Society's real problems were never going to be solved by governments alone, and certainly not by people more committed to performance than progress. Real change has always depended on people who step in and do something useful when institutions stall out. That is the broader point Maher is making. Mr. Beast helping in Africa is not some cartoon version of white saviorism, no matter how hard critics try to frame it that way. It is a response to real human need. Clean water is not ideological. Infrastructure is not symbolic. A rebuilt orphanage is not a talking point. These are real outcomes that improve real lives, and when someone actually delivers them, the reasonable reaction is to focus on the people helped, not obsess over whether the helper passed some activist purity test first. But for the outrage crowd, optics matter more than outcomes every time, and that tells you exactly where their priorities lie.
How did we get to this weird place? Telling people who are actually out in the world making a positive difference you're the problem. Yeah, quick question, who the are you? And this isn't only the media and the people on Twitter who exist to bitch, always finding something. He just did it for the clicks, or for the wrong reason, or he should have done more, or sooner, whatever. You signed X. No.
Maher's words hit because they expose something almost embarrassingly obvious. Who made these people? The gatekeepers of altruism? Why are they so convinced they alone can decide which good deed is pure and which one must be treated like a PR crime scene? It would almost be funny if it were not so revealing. They do not build. They do not fix. They do not solve problems, but they are always ready to criticize the people who do. And the pattern is so predictable it practically writes itself. If someone outside their ideological circle does something positive, there must be a hidden motive. There must be clout involved. There must be selfish intent. There must be some buried offense. But if the exact same act came from their side, it would instantly be praised as noble, transformative, and beyond criticism. That is the hypocrisy. Maher drags into the light. Good should not be treated like a threat just because it comes from the wrong person. Good is still good, whether the activist class likes it or not.
This is also the National Institutes of Health, which last year proposed to amend their mission statement to exclude the word disability, saying it, quote, could be interpreted as perpetuating ableist beliefs that disabled people are flawed and need to be fixed. Let me take this moment to go on record. Folks, if I am ever struck blind or deaf or paralyzed, don't praise me, fix me. Don't sit around talking about how much I'm just as good as you. Fix me. Do something. Use AI.
Then Maher pivots to another example, and somehow the argument becomes even more absurd. He takes aim at the idea that even talking about treatment, improvement, or fixing a disability is somehow offensive because it implies something is wrong that should be addressed. And Maher's response is brutally simple. If he ever goes blind, deaf, or becomes paralyzed, do not praise him, fix him. That line lands because it cuts through the confusion instantly. People living with disabilities do not need empty applause. From those pretending language matters more than reality. They need support, care, accessibility, treatment, opportunity, innovation, and tools to live fuller lives. But the outrage machine hears practical compassion and somehow translates it into oppression. Because in this worldview, helping people improve their condition is suspicious, while congratulating them for enduring it is seen as profound. True compassion is not telling people they are perfect while leaving every barrier in place. True compassion is removing those barriers so people can thrive and enjoy the same freedoms as everyone else.
You know, there's so much faking this time of year between the presents you don't want to buy and the presents you didn't want to get and the goodwill toward men that lasts until January 2nd. I just don't have room for, and disability is awesome. It's not awesome, and it's not a political affiliation. That's the problem. We turn everything into a political identity category. You're deaf, that's your identity. Don't mess up a good thing by hearing.
applause. And that leads into the deeper issue underneath all of this. Everything now has to be turned into an identity, a label, a political brand, a moral performance. Nothing can simply be a human challenge anymore. Disability cannot just be something people want relief from. It has to become a cultural category. Activism cannot just be helping. It has to become a symbolic ritual. That is how far things have drifted. Instead of dealing with real life, the outrage crowd keeps turning lived experience into ideology. They carve out identity labels for everything and act as if those labels matter more than the people actually living through the problem. Instead of focusing on practical support, empathy, and real-world solutions, they turn human struggle into a political badge that must be defended and performed. And once that happens, common sense gets pushed aside and replaced with identity theatrics disguised as compassion. The problem stops being something to solve and becomes something to perform around.
When Adele lost weight, she was excoriated for betrayal. To who? She betrayed the unhealthy? The woke have even turned the homeless into a political identity group, as opposed to liberals, old school liberals, who just want to get them off the street, which now is seen as kind of judgy, like, don't disturb them in their natural habitat.
It is the same instinct that turns every serious issue into a stage performance. Instead of backing real reform, accountability, treatment, solutions, and direct action, the activist class keeps obsessing over appearances. When someone actually achieves something measurable, they do not jump in to help. They jump in to judge. They nitpick the tone. They question the motive. They police the optics. And that is exactly why so much modern outrage feels fake. It does not solve problems. It circles around the person trying to solve them and attempts to make their efforts look morally tainted. The absurdity would almost be funny if the consequences were not so serious. Because while these people are busy performing moral sophistication, real problems remain unsolved. Real suffering continues. Real lives stay stuck. That instinct is not compassion. It is sabotage wrapped in self-righteousness. Instead of helping fix the issue, they turn it into another performance where looking virtuous matters more than actually doing something useful.
Small matters when activism merges with narcissism. Less about the cause and more about me. Look at me. Watch me. And if you like the way I'm fighting injustice, remember to like and subscribe.
The first responsibility of anyone claiming to care about a cause should be obvious. Help the people, fix the problem, improve the outcome. That is the foundation. Everything else comes after that. But activism today often works in reverse. The branding comes first, the applause comes first, the performance comes first, the camera comes first, and the actual solution gets pushed to the back. That is why Maher's point hits so hard. Turning activism into a spectacle while real problems remain untouched is completely backward. It is moral posturing, not moral seriousness. The people suffering do not need another lecture about appearances. They need real help. They need change. On the ground, they need results. Real care measures outcomes. Fake care measures optics. And that is the difference Maher keeps emphasizing. Helping people should matter more than curating the perfect moral image while suffering continues in plain sight. Anything less is just pretending to help while the camera rolls.
Speaking of which, when I did the Ice Bucket Challenge back in 2014, I thought I was helping the cause of funding research to cure ALS. Wrong again. An op-ed in Time magazine said the Ice Bucket Challenge even seems to be suggesting that being cold, wet, and uncomfortable is preferable to fighting ALS. It was suggesting no such thing. What is wrong with this country that so many people can't be happy for anything for even a second?
In the end, Maher's argument goes far beyond just one example. Woke outrage has reached a point where anything useful, generous, or effective gets attacked before it is even understood. If it cannot be controlled, it gets discredited. This is no longer about progress. It is about control, outrage, and deciding who is allowed to do good in public. That is why Maher's message lands so strongly. Real help matters. Real solutions matter. And common sense should not be treated like a crime. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments.